Hey friends, if you are here, it's probably because you're like me. In the past, I would get frozen pie crust from the grocery store, and of course, you know what happens, they crack, and it's no good. The reality is, you can very easily make an all-purpose pastry crust that you can use, and you can also store as a ball in your freezer and defrost it when you need it. All you're going to need is a stick of butter. Do not worry if it's unsalted or salted. The difference is really negligible. Now, if you want to use shortening instead, that's going to yield a more pliable crust. Or you can use a combination of butter and shortening to get the best of both worlds. However, all three methods will yield a delicious result. All-purpose flour will work just fine. I got some kosher salt here. And then I have some ice water. The reason we're chilling the water is that so we can keep the butter from getting too warm while we make the pastry crust.
Now let's get started by cutting our butter into chunks.
All right, I have the flour salt mixture here, and I'm going to drop in my butter. Okay, and we're going to start mixing. You can see that this method is going to yield a very flaky crust. It is going to take you a longer time, but if you do have the time or you don't have a food processor, well, then this is what you can do. All right, so I have the handmade disc here, and to be honest, I actually prefer this because I don't have to deal with washing the food processor. I just put the bowl in the dishwasher and I'm good to go. We're gonna wrap this up and put it in the fridge, and when you are ready to make your pie, just roll it out. If you've stored it in the fridge overnight and it's too hard, just leave it on the counter, let it warm up until it's ready to roll out. A couple of tips. If you want a flakier crust, you can remove a tablespoon of the flour and replace it with a tablespoon of cornstarch. Also, when you're working with the butter, if you want it flakier, you can cut them into bigger chunks, and that's going to help yield a flakier crust.
I also recommend you make an egg wash and brush it onto the crust before baking. This is going to yield a nice golden brown color to your finished product. In addition, if you're making a sweet pastry, I recommend sprinkling a little bit of granulated sugar onto the crust as well. This is going to add an enhanced texture to your final dish.